It's time for To Your Health. Joining me today is Dr. Lorraine Maida, a functional and integrative medicine physician who practices anti-aging medicine, executive health, hormone replacement therapy, and weight management. She's the author of Vibrance for Life, How to Live Younger and Healthier. Dr. Maida is here today to discuss taking the fear out of hormone replacement therapy. Welcome, Dr. Maida. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Joan.
Dr. Maida, there is so much concern regarding hormone replacement therapy. Can you tell us why that is, and are the concerns valid?
Well, for a long time, Joan, we were always advised to give women hormone replacement when they were having symptoms of menopause because it was considered a very low-risk intervention with a lot of benefits. These studies were done when women were just entering menopause, like within the first 5 years. So it was always taken for granted that if they're well past menopause, that they'd still get the same benefits. And this is why they designed this infamous study, the Women's Health Initiative, to look at what would happen if someone was well beyond menopause. And they chose women whose average age was 63. They were mostly 10 years past menopause, and they were given high doses of synthetic hormones. But the study was stopped abruptly, and the use of HRT, or hormone replacement therapy, just plummeted because that stirred up a fear of a risk of breast cancer and heart disease and stroke. However, after studying this study for over 10 years, even the lead investigator came out and published a paper saying that the publishers of the study jumped to the wrong conclusions, and there was actually benefits to using hormone replacement therapy, and wanted to publish that there should be no fear.
Doctor, what were the findings, and how did this misperception perpetuate?
When you look at a study, you lump everybody together, young, old, high dose, low dose, risk factors, no risk factors. So when if the average is weighted towards people who've already had problems, then you're going to see more problems. So when you subdivide the studies into how many years after menopause were they taking estrogen and synthetic progestin, this subdivision and studying the studies, when they looked at it, they found that estrogen alone, if a woman was under the age of 60, it actually reduced the risk of breast cancer. And this was largely ignored because it took years for them to sort through the data. And Dr. Langer, who is one of the principal investigators in the Women's Health Initiative, said that the process of jumping to conclusions was, erroneous. Others who critiqued the study also said that even though they used statistically acceptable methods, the conclusions that were drawn were incorrect and needed a different methodology, which required some modification. So Dr. Langer recently published another paper that confirms there was no statistically significant harm for either breast cancer or heart attacks, and that women were abandoning the use of hormone replacement therapy and suffered needlessly because there were many studies showing the benefits.
What else do women need to know before considering HRT? They
need to know their own individual risk factors, because if you're going to consider HRT, the sooner you do it, the better. However, there's been a statement by the North American Menopause Society that said if women are still suffering, they're 10 years past menopause, it's still safe to take hormone replacement because the lack of sleep, the loss of bone, the loss of memory, the hot flashes, the night sweats, they can be treated, and it can be treated safely. So you have to really make up your own mind. There are numerous studies that show a multitude of benefits. You just have to know your individual risk factors. Estrogen given orally can increase the risk of clots, but if it's given through the skin, that risk is negligible. So the way you give hormones, the type of hormones, what your liver functions are like, your risk of different kinds of cancers, and how you feel about it, whether or not you have symptoms, all of this has to be taken into consideration. And that's why it's always good to work with somebody who really understands it and has kept up on the latest with the studies.
Dr. Maida, thank you so much for being here. If you would like to learn more about this topic, if you'd like to learn more about Dr. Maida, you can visit her website, howtoliveyounger.com. We'll be right back.